What's going on YouTube? Hope everybody's been well. I saw this on my feed, so I just want to see what Coco Crazy got in the tank for a while. Dua Lipa lost 67 million Spotify streamers, and over how long of a period, et cetera, et cetera. I'm a little interested. I might see that Jack Harlow hip hop's most non-essential rappers next. All right,
If
let's
I
get
asked
into
you
it.
who is one of the biggest, most talented artists of 2020, you would probably say Dua Lipa. She was once ranked number 2 for the most Spotify streamed to artist. Her album Future Nostalgia did insanely well,
Bangers. Future Nostalgia had none but bangers on it.
with multiple songs getting billions of streams.
The new album's fire though. I like the new album too. I like the most. Here's the thing. When we get into flops and numbers and stuff like that, Spotify numbers and all that, that's all bought. That's all things that are bought and controlled and manipulated by the industry. So a lot of things that the music industry does and is conditioned us as fans is to make the product and the artist look bigger than what they are. And I think because everything is so accessible and fans care so much about numbers, and I don't know if it ever was like that in the past. I don't know. I'm 30, but when I was younger, and I still, to an extent, care about directly how the music makes me feel and how it impacts me. But because you have chart data, you have academics, you have all these people reporting numbers and first week sales and everything like that. That's what labels care about the most because it makes their product either look great or bad. And the truth of the matter is, which most artists will tell you, first week numbers don't mean a thing. There's plenty of albums and songs in history that had poor first week sales and went on to sell great. And if they didn't sell great, they went on to have a tremendous impact in the lives of many. And what should be measured is not first week sales, but who is there at the concert. Who if they're selling decent ticket sales and they are a touring act, that is a measure of success for me, probably the most important measure of success, and also vinyl sales and merch sales. We're getting into an era where the magic of the inauthentic portion of the music industry of selling and botting and polishing and making the product look as great as it can be as far as numbers wise is coming to an end. And I think that trick, one of that level of trick, there's so many tricks that the music industry does, and we're breaking one barrier. That doesn't mean we know exactly what's going on with the music industry. They have so much access to so much data about us. I think they know us as consumers better than we know ourselves. So they're way ahead of us in how they can sell a product, because I see plenty of fans and plenty of us falling for the same trick over and over again, and we will continue to fall for some of the same tricks over and over again as far as the music industry goes. But I feel like we are getting to a level of where we are starting to pick apart what looks authentic to us, and I think the music industry is calculating that, but they're also selling us what we like. Like they have so much access to what we like, they're gonna keep giving us the shit that we like. But from the artists that we love, and we're like, how come they did 20 million streams on this song but not that? Not knowing that things tend to fluctuate and things tend to bottom out. Once you get us on that type of hype train, it's the hype train that gets you to FOMO and feel like you're missing out. They hit you with that. The first week sales is just a FOMO test. It's a litmus test and a FOMO test. Top 40 is a litmus test, is a FOMO test. Like if it's not top, if it's, oh, this is top 40. This chart, this specific chart is telling me that it's top 40, so you should be listening to it. That's all that is, right? Not knowing that it is the longevity of an artist. If they had a connection, that is so much important. That's why you see major labels all the time leave and go independent. They get hot, they catch a single, i.e. Tinashe. That they're so talented that they're going to keep reappearing no matter what. That, I think, that is the gauge of an artist is going to stay through the test of time. This right here is kind of like irrelevant, but it's a sign of the times of what we're reflecting on, and just like, what we're seeing right now, there's a collapse in the system somewhat. I think the music industry is one of the biggest gangsters on the planet, along with the film industry. But
this year,
that's
her
my
album
opinion.
Radical Optimism has failed to have even one single chart.
Well, as a Dua Lipa lover,
Which isn't important to me. It's not important. But let's see what Kimberly Nicole Foster has to say about this.
This is so painful.
Dua Lipa is in trouble.
But why? Why though?
But the most insane, unexpected part of this is why her career is taking a shift for the worse.
Tell me.
So in this video, we will get into it. So you may have heard of Dua Lipa through that one huge hit from a few years ago known as Levitating. You know, the song that featured DaBaby before he burned his bridge with Dua Lipa over some things he said. Or you may know her from Break My Heart or Don't Start Now. You may have also heard about her through Andrew Tate, who said he likes her but doesn't actually want her because he thinks she's too much of a feminist. Oh, the horror.
I wasn't briefed on that, but okay, continue.
Whenever you've heard of her, one thing is clear. She's a star, always has been. She's insanely good looking, has a very good voice, and could dance. Well, she learned to dance. But today, I honestly haven't heard any of her songs from her latest album on TikTok, YouTube, etc. Many consider her latest album a flop, even though it didn't do absolutely horrible, it just didn't do good.
Is that Dua Lipa is in her flop era with Radical Optimism, but the first week sales are through. Let's see if that is actually true. The Radical Optimism era hasn't had a top 10 single in the US like Future Nostalgia did with Don't.
And that's the thing. We're always going to compare an artist's most recent work to their last work. And Future Nostalgia, it's a lightning in a bottle, considering the times, considering the body of work, considering the era that she was in, that it makes the next release look not as, you know, when you shoot for the stars and you have something that's still of good quality, it's not like a huge quality drop. Every person I've seen on this current video that's critiquing it, and like it's still a great album, then that's all that should matter, because I think it will stand alone as its own great album. And songs can catch later. Songs can catch later, especially with the power of TikTok. We may see a record hit the top 10 or top 20, top 40, whatever. If that chart matters to you, right? It will catch on later. There's still things that like sync opportunities. If it gets placed in your favorite commercial, if it gets a Super Bowl ad, if you go to the concert and you're like, this shit was fire, you go whatever, and it catches fire on its own, and it just hits differently in different times, then I feel like people will reflect on this album a little differently. Like, damn, we were a little too harsh on this, but it was because of Future Nostalgia, the reason why we were so harsh on this album. I don't know if Dua Lipa cares or not. You can tell me as a fan, if she's just chilling. It looks like to me she's just fucking chilling. I don't think she gives a shit about what people have to say. Excuse me, what people have to say about this album. Not to say that she isn't prideful and isn't like sensitive about her work. I'm not saying that either. That you know, comments get to all of us, but I think she's very proud in her work. That's the impression that I get from Dua Lipa.
Start now before it was released, but the streams have been pretty consistent.
So while Dua Lipa's latest album wasn't a complete flop, it's still considered a failure. Compared to her last album's numbers, only like 5% of the people who listen to that seem to listen to Radical Optimism. The first reason for this is the comparison of the two albums. Look at Future Nostalgia. It would be practically impossible for Dua Lipa to duplicate that exact success.
My computer may have cut this off, so this may be an editing splice if it is, and if it isn't, whatever. But according to the video, which I agree with, the example right here that I got the screen on, I paused it due to editing conflicts, but I'll be able to make a point anyways. 5%, this 5% graphic measures the people that like Future Nostalgia may not like this era. It doesn't make it a bad album, it's just that I like this era, so I'm gonna go to that. So in this era, people are going to pick what they want because there's so much content, there's so much music. They're going to go for what they like at all times. So people that came for Future Nostalgia, they're going to be on Future Nostalgia. But people that come for Radical Optimism will be for Radical Optimism. That's why if we pit two albums together, which don't sound the same at all, Radical Optimism and Future Nostalgia don't sound the same at all. We should have a measure, a statistic that people that come for Radical Optimism, this was for me. It's just like Ariana Grande. Some people feel like Eternal Sunshine was her flop era. They feel like this is her worst album. But I know people that love Eternal Sunshine. But if you compare it against different eras, you may not like it as much because you're comparing it with a different era. Comparison is always going to be the thief of joy, no matter what.
People who listen to that seem to listen to Radical Optimism. The first reason for this is the comparison of the two albums. Look at Future Nostalgia. It would be practically impossible for Dua Lipa to duplicate that exact success. And with so much competition and TikTok combined with music becoming the next thing, it would be basically delusional to expect her to do it again with the next album.
Facts.
Remember when you were young and you were dumber and thought of things in a stupid way? I used to think that as long as you were one of the top artists like Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, or Dua Lipa, you could put out anything, literally anything, and it would be a massive hit.
Taylor can.
Of course, that makes no
Taylor
sense.
the only one.
It was just something stupid I used to not understand. But now I know it is hard to keep on the grind and continue to outdo or even redo your hits consistently without dipping once and a while. It's the way of YouTube too. I'll have a video with like 230,000 views, then 130,000, then just 20,000. It's just unrealistic for everything she releases to be a massive hit.
As a content
Dua
creator,
Lipa
you'll
did
understand that,
play a
because in this era, they want artists to be content creators as well, and you have to be a machine to crank out that type of volume to see which one sticks. The only one that's really doing that currently, and to have some sort of success in this era, is Drake, as you've seen with the 100 gigabyte release that he just dropped. That is a volume artist. And previously
part in the
Young
failure
Thug.
of her latest album, mainly by taking too long to present the project before actually releasing it.
Dua Lipa's new song Training Season is going to flop, and that pains me, but I'm going to tell you why. Because we're living in a day and age where we want things now. If we want something now, you need to have given it to us yesterday so that we can have it right now. In a world where we can get things ordered and delivered to our house in under an hour,
No, because he's got such a good point here.
why has the rollout for this song been so long? At this point,
I get the point that he's making in a TikTok clip before, that like they take too long, and also the person that put this video together, that the Dua Lipa took too long to put it out and the rollout, whatever. But I think people are not used to longer rollouts, and that people are used to just having things when they want it. I don't know what consumers are expecting of artists. I don't know if you want microwave artists or if you want a full lengthy rollout, because you can have both. I mean, I guess I feel like consumers may feel like they want their cake and eat it too, but some artists need a lengthy rollout process. But it also has to connect and make sense with the audience. Maybe Dua Lipa's audience is not conditioned to have that type of rollout process.
This doomed any chance of the album being a massive hit from the start. But the next reason on why this album is flopping is by far the most important reason. The songs are good, but just not great. They don't stand out. It's kind of a boring album. Training Season is so boring. My personal favorite song from Dua Lipa is called Love Again. That song has so much to deliver. It is insanely catchy, fun, and energetic, all things the single Training Season lack. There are violins playing in the background, and it's just so much. Training Season is bland and tasteless. Sure, I suppose you could
tasteless
say
is crazy.
it's a little catchy, but not really. Let's be honest, none of us can even name too many of the songs on her latest album, and I can't wait for that one 10-year-old kid to comment, "Stop coming after artists with your 50K subscribers, peasant."
I do hate when fans say that, just because we're not as big as the artist that we can't have any critique or anything to say about the artist. You know, we're a part of the listening process too. You had an opinion just like me. And my response always, I don't know how you respond to commenters. They be like, you're not going to, why would you comment on somebody doing better than you? But I'm doing better than you. Whoever commented that bullshit, I'm doing better than you personally. So it's like, you don't have anything to say. Like, you shouldn't have anything to say. Just like you feel like I shouldn't have anything to say about the artist, you shouldn't have anything to say about me. You see how that works? You see how that would work? That it's a cycle. It's a trickle down effect. If you want to be rude and nasty to me, I will be rude and nasty to you as well.
Just because I'm not a world-famous pop singer doesn't mean I can't judge an album. This album wasn't even embarrassing, just bland. At least the entire TikTok train didn't come for Dua Lipa like they did for Eminem or Katy Perry. If you watched
They
my
are
latest
violating
videos, you know
Katy Perry.
Eminem and the lyric about canceling him, and then Gen Z, yeah, just watch the video. And with Katy Perry, thousands of TikToks were made just mocking how horrible her song Woman's
She's
World
still
was.
charted,
I
though.
even heard from some article that
She's
behind
still
closed doors,
charted.
Katy Perry is said to be freaking out about how bad her single has done. So it's not like that at all for Dua Lipa. She's still wildly respected
so
and listened to
fine,
by the
bro.
world.
She's
Most
so
of us
fine.
want her success. People on TikTok literally wanted Katy Perry to fail because of her participation with a very unlikable guy. We are
Dr. Luke, but wanting someone to fail is crazy.
rooting for her success. I think most of us can understand that some albums
That's
fail,
the Dr.
some
Luke
projects
effect.
fail, and it's okay because you'll most likely have a breakthrough hit soon. So, this video in no way is hating on Dua Lipa. I'm just sharing my thoughts on why her latest album didn't do so well. Remember how a few years ago you could not escape her music at the shopping mart, pool, etc. Now you can't escape Sabrina Carpenter's duets, and next year it will be someone else. At least Dua Lipa wasn't made from TikTok, like so many unfortunate people are. And then they fail to actually sell albums or anything. I feel like the worst way to advertise your album is by advertising it through TikTok. Like, no one wants to buy albums, they just want a sped up song for a trend.
Facts.
Someone should comment who they think will be the next Dua Lipa in like the next few years. Like, I'm curious. Do you think it'll be Sabrina, Chapel?
It won't be Sabrina because the industry's positioned Sabrina to somewhat rival Taylor, or like be the Taylor to even though Taylor and Sabrina are friends, they've pushed her just like they've pushed Olivia Rodrigo. Like, funny, Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina, had that, that tiff. I don't know if they're good or not, But the industry would choose who they want to push the button on and put the resources behind. Excuse me, sorry for my poor enunciation, but it won't be Sabrina. It won't be Sabrina.
Anyways, thanks for watching. I spent half my day just making the script and recording this, so leaving a like would be cool. Subscribing would be amazing because I'm halfway to 100K, and that's the most amazing thing.
Shout out to you,
Seriously,
Coco.
I appreciate anyone supporting the channel. I couldn't do it without you. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Shout out, Coco. I can tell you're a great content creator. Just off this video. So I'm gonna give you a credit in the description box down below. Thank you for providing your knowledge and your opinions to the world. All right, go follow, go subscribe, go watch her channel. She did a wonderful video. Steve Levine was always, I would say, sweet.